You know that feeling, right? A new essay assignment drops and your stomach just does a little flip. Well, today, we're going to tackle that feeling head on. Seriously. By the end of this, you won't just know how to write an essay, you're going to have a blueprint to write a great one, every single time.
Oh man, we've all been there. The blinking cursor, the deadline getting closer and closer, and a mind that feels completely, utterly blank. That feeling of having nothing to say, that's the first and honestly, the biggest wall we hit. So let's start breaking it down. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll deal with that terrifying blank page by figuring out what an essay even is. Then, we're going on an idea hunt to find our raw materials. After that, we'll turn all that chaos into a solid blueprint. Then we'll actually build the thing, and finally add a little polish with some super simple style rules. Trust me, this isn't magic, it's a process anyone can master. Okay, step one, let's define the mission. A huge chunk of the stress that comes with writing an essay is just from not really knowing what the goal is. So let's clear that up, right here, right now. Check out the keywords here. One's own personal ideas or opinions. An essay is not a test where you just list a bunch of facts. You know, the word essay literally means an attempt. It's just your attempt to explore a topic, to share your unique take. Framing it that way, it changes everything. It's not about being perfect, it's about sharing your perspective. Okay, so an essay is all about your ideas. Great. But where do those ideas come from? I mean, you can't build a house without lumber and nails, and you definitely can't write an essay from an empty mind. So let's go find our raw materials, the facts, thoughts, and examples we need to start building. That whole blank page panic usually comes from something called a lack of matter. It's that feeling that your mind is just empty. But here's the secret. It's not. The ideas are in there. You just need a system to get them out. So how do we find all this great material? It really comes down to three simple habits. First, read. Just read anything and everything. It fills your brain with facts and new perspectives. Second, observe. Pay attention. Your daily life is an absolute goldmine of examples and insights. And third, converse. Talk about ideas with your friends. Seriously, it's one of the best ways to figure out what you think and spark new connections. Now, as you're doing all this reading and observing and talking, you need a place to capture everything. And this step is so important. You have to do a brain dump. Just open a document, grab a notebook, and let it all out. Write down every single thought, every random idea, every question. Don't filter, don't organize, and please, don't judge it. The goal here is quantity, not quality. We just want a big, messy pile of ideas to work with. So now you have this big, messy, chaotic pile of ideas. This next step, it's probably the most critical part of the whole process. We're going to bring order to that chaos. This is where we turn that random mess into a structured blueprint for our essay. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the raw brain dump, a jumble of facts about an elephant. It's all over the place. But on the right, those same ideas are sorted and structured into logical groups. That is an outline. It's the map that makes sure you won't get lost when you actually start writing. Think of it this way. Your outline is the skeleton of your essay. It's not the final thing, of course, but it provides the essential structure. All you have to do next is add the flesh, the sentences and paragraphs that bring it all to life. Without this strong skeleton, your essay is just, well, a formless blob of ideas. All right, our blueprint is done. Now it's time to start building. And here's the best part. Since you have a solid plan, you're not staring at a blank page anymore. You're just putting the pieces together. This is where all that prep work really starts to pay off. Pretty much every effective piece of writing, from a movie script to a great speech, follows this timeless structure: a beginning, a middle, and an end. For us, that's the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Your intro is the hook, the body's where you make your case, and the conclusion is the big payoff. It's a simple, powerful formula that just works. Your introduction has one job, and one job only: to hook the reader. It needs to grab them and make them feel like, okay, I need to read this. You could use a surprising fact, a challenging question, a bold statement. Whatever it is, it has to earn their attention, and fast. The body is where you deliver on the promise you made in the intro. You just follow your outline, with each paragraph tackling one specific point. This is where you bring in all your evidence, your examples, and your analysis to build a really convincing argument, piece by piece. And finally, the conclusion. This is not just a boring summary, okay? It's your mic drop. It's your last chance to tie everything together and hammer your main point home. Don't just trail off. End with a powerful, memorable thought that leaves your reader thinking.
So the structure is built, the ideas are all there. This last step is all about the final polish. And listen, great style isn't about using big, fancy words to sound smart. It's about using simple words to be clear and have an impact.
Here are 3 golden rules for a great style. First, be direct. Use short, clear sentences. If you find yourself writing a super long, complicated sentence, that's usually a sign your thinking isn't clear yet. Second, be simple. The goal is to communicate, not to show off your vocabulary. And, most importantly, be natural. Just write like yourself. The best writing always sounds authentic.
And that really brings us to the single most important idea of this whole thing. The secret of clear writing is clear thinking. If you put in the work to gather your ideas and structure them into a logical outline, the writing part, it almost takes care of itself. The essay is just the proof that you did that clear, organized thinking beforehand. So that blank page, it's not scary anymore. It's an opportunity. It's a construction site for your ideas. You have the blueprint now. The only question left is, what are you going to build?